In today's lesson, we're going to look at volume and total surface area. So volume is the space inside the boundaries of a three-dimensional shape, or the three-dimensional space it occupies. You have total surface area is the area of all the faces of a three-dimensional shape, and then you have volume is measured in cubic units, example, cm cube, meter cube, etc. Now let's go back to the definition. Volume is a space inside the boundaries of a three-dimensional shape or the dimensional space it occupies. Now, let's say you have a cube, or let's look at a tin. You're going to purchase a tin of corn. Yeah. The contents inside the tin, or the space inside of the tin, is the volume of the tin. So, if you look at some containers, you're going to see volume equal or VOL with a colon, and then they gave you like how much milliliters or so on that's inside. The second part of the definition speaks to the three-dimensional space it occupies. Let's say you have to fill a tank or something with water, then the amount of water that needs to go into the tank, you measure the volume of that, and when you pour it in, the space that is going to occupy is the volume of the shape. Total surface area is the area of all the faces of a three-dimensional shape. Now, remember you have the faces outside. If, for example, you look at the cube that you cook with, you have 6 faces, and each face is a square. So, the total surface area would be the area of all those faces that is outside of the shape. And remember, volume is always in cube. So, if it's cm cube, meters cube, etc. The first shape we're going to look at is the cube. So here you have what a cube is. The volume is equals to L cube, and the total surface area is equals to 6L square, where L is the length of one side. Remember, cube, all the faces are squares. So if here is 5, then all the length around this shape is going to be 5. You have an example there. Calculate the volume and TSA of the shape below. TSA is total surface area, just remember that. So let's start with the volume. So V is equals to L cube. V is equals to the length, which is 7 cm, all raised to the third power. V is equals to 7 times 7 times 7, and that's going to give me 343 cm cube. So this is the volume of that shape. Total surface area, the formula is 6L squared. This is going to be 6 multiplied by 7 cm, all raised to the second power. This is going to be 6 multiplied by 49 cm squared. And this is going to be 6 times 49 is going to give me 294 cm squared. Remember, area is in square, volume is in cube. So this is how you find the volume and the total surface area of a cube. The second shape we're going to look at is the cuboid. So here you have a cuboid with L, B, or W, and H. So L is the length, B is the breadth, or in some cases you would say the width, and H is the height. The formula for the volume is length times breadth times height, or length times width times height, whichever one you see. And for the total surface here is going to be 2 times length times H plus breadth times height plus length times breadth. Well, this part, remember we have 6 faces, right? And all the faces are rectangles. So to find the bottom and the top, it's going to be the length times the breadth. That would give me the area of the bottom and the top together, so we have 2 of that. To find the size, it's going to be the height times the breadth, which is going to be BH, and we have 2 of that. And to find the front and the back, it's going to be the length times the height, which is this one, and we have 2 of that. That's why we get a formula 2 into the faces, because the opposite faces of the cuboid are parallel and identical, where L is the length, B is the breadth, or if you see W, W is the width, and H is the height. Here we have an example. Calculate the volume and total surface area of the shape. So let's start with the volume. Volume is equals to length times breadth times height. L is 7, B is 4, and H is 3. So volume is equals to length, which is 7 cm, times the breadth, which is 4 cm, times the height, which is 3 cm. The volume is equal to 84 cm cube. Total surface area is equals to 2 into LH plus BH plus LB plus BH plus LB. This is going to be 2 into the length is 7 times the height, which is 3. So the first part would be 7 times 3 plus BH, that's going to be 4 times 3, plus LB is going to be 7 times 4. This is going to be 2 into 7 threes 21 plus 4 threes 12 plus 7 fours 28. This is going to be 2 into 21 plus 12 plus 28 is going to give me 61. Let's add back our unit, and that's going to be cm squared. 2 times 61 is going to give me 122 cm squared. And this is the total surface area of the cuboid, and here you have the volume of the cuboid. Third shape we're going to look at is the cone. So everybody know what a cone looks like, because it's the same thing that you get ice cream in when you go buy the cone. So the volume is 1/3 pi r square h, and then you have CSA instead of TSA. So CSA is the curved surface area, because remember the cone is curved around. So the curved surface area is equals to pi r L, where r is the radius, h is the perpendicular height, and L is the slant height. Note that the perpendicular height is the one that comes straight down, and it forms a right angle with the radius. It's either inside, or sometimes they give you it out here. So remember that this is the perpendicular height, and L is the slant height, is the one that's slant based on whichever side of the cone they gave you it. So on this one side it's L, or if it's on this one side it's the same slant height, right? Remember, we use our slant height in the curved surface area, and we use our perpendicular height in the volume. You have an example there. Calculate the volume and curved surface area of the shape below. So let's go. So the volume is equals to 1/3 pi r square h. Volume is equals to 1/3 times pi, which is 22/7, times the radius squared. That's going to be 7.5 times 7.5 times h, which is our perpendicular height. It's given outside, and that's going to be 18. We put these over 1. V is equals to 1 times 22 times 7.5 times 7.5 times 18, and that's going to give me 22,275. So this is cm, cm, cm. So there's going to be cm cubed divided by 3 times 7, which is 21. So the volume is equals to 22,275 divided by 21 is going to give me 1,060.7 cm cubed. So that's the volume. The curved surface area, this is pi r L. Remember, L now is our slant height. We know that pi is 22/7 times r, which is 7.5, times L, which is 19.5. We put this over 1, put this over 1. 22 times 7.5 times 19.5 is going to give me 3,217.5 cm squared divided by 7, and that's going to give me 459.6 cm squared. And this is the curved surface area of the cone. There's another example I would show you next, and that is how we find the slant height when we're not given the height. That the slant height that is. In this example, they want you to calculate the curved surface area, and if you look at our shape, they give us the radius and they give us h. They didn't give us what is L. So there's a formula to find L, So to find L is equals to the square root of r square plus 8 square. And if you look, we have our radius and we have our height. So before we find the curved surface area in this one, we have to go and first find what is our slant height. So let's go and find that. So this is going to be the square root of r, which is 5 square plus 8 square, and that's going to be 12 square. Square root of 5 square is 25, plus 12 square is 144. Square root of 169. Square root 169, we're going to get 13 cm. So L is equals to 13 cm. We can now go and find what is our curved surface area. So the curved surface area is equals to pi RL. That's going to be 22 over 7 times R, which is 5, times L, which we just found to be 13. Put them over 1. 22 times 5 times 13 is going to give me 1,430 cm squared divided by 7. And when you divide it, you're going to get 204.28 cm squared. And this is how you find the curved surface area when you're given the perpendicular height and the radius, and you have to go and find what is our slant height. So the fourth shape we're going to look at is a sphere. And remember, the sphere is a ball. So the volume for a sphere is 4 over 3 pi r cubed, and the curved surface area is 4 pi r square, where r is the radius. So all you need for this one is the radius. Remember that it's circular, right? So we have a curved surface area. So you have an example there to calculate the volume and curved surface area of the shape. They give us the radius as 9.5. So let's go to the volume first. So V is equals to 4 over 3 pi r cubed. This is going to be 4 over 3 pi is 22 over 7 times r cubed. That means the radius multiplied by itself 3 times. So that's going to be 9.5 times 9.5 times 9.5. We put them over 1. This is going to be 4 times 22 times 9.5 times 9.5 times 9.5, and that's going to give me 75,449 cm cubed divided by 3 times 7 times 1 is going to give me 21. Divided 2, and I'm going to get 3,592.8 cm cubed, and that's the volume. So let's find the curved surface area. The formula is 4 pi r square. 4 pi r square, that's going to be 4 times 22 over 7 times r square is 9.5 times 9.5. You put them over 1. 4 times 22 times 9.5 times 9.5 is going to give me 7,942 divided by, this is cm square. Put this over 1. So 7 times 1 times 1 times 1 is going to give me 7. When you divide it, you're going to get 1,134.6 cm squared. And that's how you find the curved surface area and the volume of a sphere. I mean, this one, all you need is the radius. So a quick recap: we defined what is volume and what is total surface area, and we looked at the volume and the total surface area of the cube and the cuboid, and the volume and the curved surface area of the cone and the sphere. Remember, for the cone you need the slant height, which is L, to find the curved surface area. So if you're not given the slant height, I gave you an example of and the formula that you have to use to find the slant height.